Hello and welcome to Doing the News on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chukudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning. Starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with Uproar over impostors exposing army recruitment exercise. Right, it says MBF Pandev Afenifere kicks profile solution. It's a wider agenda to emasculate the North, and that's coming from NEF. Recruitment exercise. Oshodi solo local government boss must be probed, and that's coming from General Olarinwaju. Oshodi Solo Local Government Chairman Oloyede orders thorough investigation. Lagos will ensure prosecution of suspects, and that's coming from Omotosho. And says corporates will be prosecuted. How we arrested the fraudulent candidates, and that's coming from the army. Forex pressure worsens as manufactured goods import rise 39% to 3.96 trillion naira. Kano demolitions. Victims lament loss of 30 persons, 260 billion naira properties. Mobilization, how undercover reporter breach our system to enroll twice, and that's coming from NYSC. Stories above. EFCC ex-minister Farouq cited illness for shunning our invitation, and you can read more on page 8. South African Rupert displaces Dangote as Africa's richest person. Plateau, appeal court unfair to me, Governor Mutwang tells the Supreme Court. NJX Pencom to deepen and PFA's equity participation with pension board index. Last year on the front page of Vanguard, we have a 2023 AFCON Super Eagle, 23 others jostle for 8.4 billion naira top prize. We take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with EFCC probes SIPA beneficiaries in alleged Forex allocation abuse, and on page 30, my election nullified without basis. Plateau governor cries out to Supreme Court. Fubara's ally withdraws suit against 25 Rivers lawmakers. Man predicts challenging business year, urges federal government to prioritize manufacturing. You can read that on page 20. Naira battles of fresh threats falls below 1,200 to $1 at parallel market. You can read that on page 19. Group blames Mossop for underdevelopment in Ogoni. Navy decries a report on complicity in oil theft. How dry season, climate change exacerbate a risk of virulent diseases. A wake-up call to African leaders, an editorial on page 12. Create economic management team, Nessa tells Tunumbu. And that's how we can take on the Guardian. We take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with Forex scandal. EFCC combs Dangote's headquarters for documents, probes 51 firms. The writer says how EFCC ordered 52 firms to submit Forex allocation forms from 2014 to 2023. We can see a photo story showing that traders protest ask Lagos government to approve markets. Foreign investment to manufacturing sector dropped by 54%, and that's coming from MBS. Plateau attacks survivor battles hunger in IDP camp. Federal government releases 108 billion naira for road repair. Stories above. Fake degrees. 10,900 Nigerians in Benin Togo varsities lament. Banks borrow over 19 trillion naira from CBN, and that's coming from a report. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, custom generates a 3 trillion naira, eyes a 5 trillion naira in 2024. And that's how we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining still today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi. We move straight up to the newspaper analysis segment, and we'll be starting off with the first story, and that's Uproar over impostors exposing army recruitment exercise. And anger was the word yesterday as Nigerian Army, Lagos State Government, Oshodi Solo Local Government Area, former Minister of Communications, Major General Tajuddin Olarinwaju retired, and other stakeholders reacted to a viral video of some northerners seeking recruitment into the army as Lagos indigenes. Among stakeholders who spoke were the Middle Belt Forum MBF, Pan Nigerian Delta Forum PANDEF, Pan Yoruba Social Political Organization Afenifere, and Northern Elders Forum NEF. In the video, some recruiters said they hailed from Kaduna State and could not speak Yoruba language, presented certificates showing they were from Koshofe and Oshodi Solo Local Government Area, amongst others, with which they sought recruitment in the army. Olaiwaju, a former general officer commanding GOC 3rd Armored Division, Nigerian Army, described the video as a big slap on the national goal of achieving peace and unity of the country. He urged the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouq Lagbaja, and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State to probe the slaughter of Lagos indigents in the ongoing any recruitment, insisting that the chairman of Oshodi Solo local government area should step aside for a thorough investigation to take place. Olanrewaju said the council boss cannot investigate himself. The former minister in a statement said nobody would see and listen to the video and not be repulsed about the violation of the constitutional rights of indigents of Lagos State. There is an ongoing indigent recruitment in Lagos State into the Nigerian Army. I believe this is procedurally wrong, constitutionally and democratically unacceptable, and it is a big slap on the national goal of achieving peace and unity of the country. If this video is fake, let it be, but if it's not, I am requesting the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouq Lagbaja, to please use his good office to look into this matter, and if it's true, interrogate and stop it. As for the Lagos State government and the responsible agency, including Governor's Advisory Council of All Progressive Congress (APC) in Lagos State, they are implored to step in and stop those who dish out fake indigent identity to non-indigenous residents in Lagos State in general. This video has highlighted one of the various methods and ways indigenous Lagosians have been looting their slots as guaranteed in the Constitution. Issues emanating from this video have been traced to Oshodi Isolo local government, even though the media office of the local government executive chairman has released the press statement trying to deny it, but the issue should not be swept under the carpet. Our local government area and local council development area chairmen are not concerned and conscious of power of true Lagos State indigenship. Same applies to our Obas, traditional chiefs and Bales. Securing certificates, letter or any document of Lagos State indigenship by individuals must be thoroughly scrutinized, secured and not offered on the altar of money or friendship. Non-indigents should go to their states for whatever they are required to present, which may require their state of origin's approval whenever they want to join any of the national service. They have their own vacancies awaiting them in their various local governments, and there are 774 local governments in the federation. Our Ibile indigenship application conditions are too porous and susceptible to abuses because they are not secured and are obtained under pretense of money and friendship. Very critical also is that most of the chairmen of LGAs and LCDAs are themselves not indigenous Ibile persons. Same applies to some civil servants in the Lagos Public Services. These are believers of Lagos State belong to all. Therefore, there is no doubt that the quota of Lagos State are usurped by Yoruba of the Southwest, Kwara and Kogi State, or even those of other states that could easily buy out the Lagos State indigenship certificate. I am sure same has been happening in other security agencies, Federal Civil Service Commission and other departments and agencies. This is not a talk shop matter anymore, but walking the talk as a purposeful unit. Move over to our next story, and our next story is EFCC ex-minister Farouq cited illness for shunning our invitation. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has said that former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development Sadiya Umar Farouq did not shun its invitation as reported by a section of the media. EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale, who disclosed this yesterday in Abuja, explained that the former minister sent a letter that she couldn't honor the invitation because she was indisposed due to health challenges. It is true that she didn't show up, but she sent a letter pleading for more time, explaining that she has some health challenges. She didn't shun EFCC invitation. She actually gave reasons why she couldn't meet up. Her lawyers was also at the commission to brief the anti-graft agency on why she couldn't come or honor the invitation, the EFCC spokesman added. Oyewale said the commission had considered her plea and expected that she would honor the invitation without further delay. He said that there might not be any reason for her arrest as she had done the needful through her lawyer. The position of the commission is that she should turn herself in without further delay. He also explained that the 37.1 billion naira being branded might not be a correct figure of the money misappropriated by the ministry. On the figure that is being branded, I cannot categorically confirm the figure because it is an ongoing thing. We are still tracing all the transactions here and there. It may be more than that. You can't publish a figure now until we finish the tracking, and it may be more than what is being brandished now, he said. The spokesman also said that the National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of the National Social Investment Program Agency, CIPA, Halima Shehu has been released. Shehu, who was arrested on Tuesday, has been released and directed to be coming to the EFCC office for interrogation until the end of the investigation. We take a look at our next story, and our next story is on mobilization, how undercover reporters breach our system to enroll twice, and that's coming from NYSC. Now, the National Youth Service Corps Scheme, NYSC, has explained how the undercover reporter who had earlier been mobilized for the compulsory one-year program in 2019 was able to be mobilized for the same program in 2023. Speaking on a TV program, the Director of Public Affairs, NYSC, Mr. Eddie Migwa, said the reporter changed his email address and phone number to be drafted again into the scheme. It is not that we don't have checks and balances in place to detect possible breaches of the system. When the undercover reporter first put in his data, the system rejected him because he had served in the scheme before. He later changed his email address and his phone number, which made the system to accept him, and he was initially posted to Osun State. He did that because he was out for a particular purpose. We are looking at the situation and ensure that it doesn't happen again. We don't have a database of graduates to serve in the scheme. We only rely on the list sent to us by the Senate of the various universities, stating the number of graduates to expect from them, he said. Though Megwa said the use of the National Identification Number NIN was incorporated into the scheme 3 years ago, he was unable to explain why the differences in the reporter's biodata in NIN and what he put in for a second mobilization were not enough to raise a flag for the scheme to detect him. Asked what step the scheme takes to ascertain whether people with foreign certificates were qualified to take part in the scheme, Megwa said it is not our duty to assess their certificates, but we have resorted to inviting foreign students and giving them tests to know their abilities. In the course of doing that, we have made startling discoveries. Ask some of them to write a simple essay. You'll be surprised at what you get. I have some of such materials that I can show you. NYSC is an elite scheme, not for illiterate and the means of communication in English language. In 2006, the then DG of NYSC, Brigadier General Yusuf Momo, went to an orientation camp and asked a supposed corps member the title of his final project. The answer he gave was incredulous, and further investigation revealed that his name was smuggled into the list of graduates from a particular university. Megwa added that the scheme was collaborating with the Federal Ministry of Education, Foreign Affairs Ministry and other agencies to track people going for foreign studies and when they come back with their certificate. Meanwhile, President of the National Association of Nigerian Student NANS in the Republic of Benin, Okechukwu Favour, has appealed to the federal government to have a rethink on the blanket ban on certificates and degrees from the higher institutions in that country. Favour, who also appeared on television show, said the fate of over 15,000 Nigerian students in Benin Republic was hanging in the balance. According to him, he said, we have over 15,000 Nigerians studying in that country alone. The ban will affect legitimate students who are at various levels of their studies. We are not saying the government should not punish anybody who has engaged in criminal acts, but it is not in all the universities that such a thing is happening. Also, it is not all the students that are involved in such terrible acts. While one agrees that the undercover reporter has helped expose some misdeed, he also breached certain conventions in the process. Our appeal is that let the guilty one be punished, spare the innocent, he stated. Alright, I will take a look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And the children are now grown ups. They know what is good. So if they want to change all the furniture, then let them be. The Mr. replies and says, but they must show some respect. They have no right to call my bed a 40-year-old rickety relic. All of them were made on it. All of them were made on it. Mr. Thank you for that humor. It was really a deep humor. Alright, that's how we can take on today in the news. Remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out up-to-date stories, go to our website www.vanguardnj.com to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and make sure you have a fabulous